Hey guys, it's Alex Sanger. I just wanted to go through some questions that came up, and I figured, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and record this for you guys as I answer these questions. So I asked AI to treat this like a blog and ask me questions related to the actual subject matter. So the subject matter today is I'm looking at buying a townhouse and the home inspection turned up mouse droppings. Is that normal? So we have to answer this question because it really is something that comes up a lot before people realize what they're dealing with. And so the first question that AI is asking me to answer is when buyers see mouse droppings on an inspection report, what usually going on through their head in that moment before you have the chance to talk them off the ledge. And here's the thing. If you're buying a townhouse or a condo, the reality is that critters live there too. Houses that are connected to other houses. And all you can do is control what's happening in your house. Now, specifically with rodents, mice, roaches, ants, whatever it is, if you get rid of them, unless you're killing them, effectively what you're doing is you're just pushing them from your house to your neighbor's house. And so whoever has the cleaner house is the one that's going to have fewer rodents in it. Whoever's cleaner wins. Okay, so that's the first question that AI asked me about the subject. Now it's going to ask me for some clarifying questions. All right, so walk me through what you actually tell a buyer to do when this shows up on an inspection report. Do they walk away from the deal, ask for a credit, ask the seller to treat it, or something else? What's your actual playbook? So here's the deal. The playbook depends, right? It depends on what kind of an inspection you set up for your contract. So if your contract is an inspection with a right to cancel, you don't really have the right to go back and ask them to do anything. It's something that you're going to have to take on yourself. Now, if the inspection is with a right to negotiate, that changes things. The best solution is have them bring in an exterminator, have them treat the house for this situation. Just know that it's probably not going to be 100%. The second option is you can say, you know what, I'd like to get a credit so that I can hire my own exterminator to come in and deal with this problem after I buy the house. The question is it like a massive problem or is it just, if it's a normal problem, I'd say move forward with the sale and either get a credit or have them do a treatment before you actually buy the property. An inspection with a right to cancel, if that really wigs you out, then you can cancel the contract and we can move on and see if we can find something else. But again, even if we find something else, there's no guarantees you're not going to have a rodent or insect problem. Now, the next question AI is asking me about this is as follows. All right. So do you have a specific story or example of a buyer who dealt with this? What happened? What did they decide? And how did it turn out? So I do have an example of this. Actually, my niece moved into a house, or she was interested in a house. It was actually, in this case, it was an apartment or a condo. We went in on the showing to see the property, and there was a dead mouse in the middle of the living room. And I was like, is that going to bother you? And she was like, you know what? It's not. Why? Because the place that she was living in was worse. And she came with a cat. And she's like, you know what, Alex? I have a cat. My cat takes care of all that kind of stuff. It's not a problem. And if you think about it, right, back in the day when people built log cabins in the woods, they had dogs on the outside to scare away all the critters, right? The bears and everybody else, they would bark and make noise so that the outside animals wouldn't come. And they had cats on the inside to catch the mice because mice get in everywhere. So it is a solution. And in her case, she didn't mind because she knew her cat was going to take care of it. Okay, let's look at the next question AI is going to ask me. So by the way, it said, haha, that's a great story, just so you know. All right, beyond mice, what other gross but normal things should show up on the inspection in townhouses and condos, specifically that buyers panic about, but really shouldn't? Ants, roaches, whatever else you've seen. Give me a couple of examples. So I will tell you that I live in a single family home and I've had ants. I haven't had cockroaches, but I've had silverfish. My wife can't stand them. Spiders is another one that people can't stand. And the reality, you live in a property that is subterranean, meaning it has a basement, something that's underground, and you have a sump pump or you have different ways for stuff to get out of the house, sewer pipes, things like that. You're going to have critters that come into the house. Sewer pipe gnats or flies are something that happens in everybody's house, especially where you don't run water in that bathroom or that faucet on a regular basis. So inevitably, you're not going to be able to get rid of everything, right? You're going to have these critters come in. The best thing you can do is keep your house clean. Vacuum, throw the trash away. It's like, tell the kids, throw the trash away, right? Empty the trash can. Don't leave that stuff in the house. Get it out of the house, especially with ants. Ants love, love, love to find these tiny holes in the seals and everything and come into the house. They're hard to get rid of. But I do have a pest company that I use at my personal properties and my rental properties. Ever since I've hired them, the ants don't come in because they create a barrier between the house and where they are outside, and they don't want to come across that barrier, so they leave the house alone. Also works for spiders, including black widow spiders. And yes, we do have black widow spiders in our area, so just so you know. Okay, let's see what AI tells me to answer next. This is kind of fun, don't you think? All right, this one says, last one. If you had to sum up your philosophy on this in 1 or 2 lines, it's hard for me. The thing you would want every buyer to walk away remembering, what would you tell them? What I would tell them is that we live in houses, but there's outside, and the outside will come inside if it can. Because the reality is you've created this space that's so wonderful and comfortable that the bugs want to come in, right? In fact, last house that I lived in, the back of the house, we had this big glass, and the sun just beat up against the side of the house. And certain times of the year, when it would get a little bit cold, all these tiny little red mites would find their way into the house. This was a new construction house, by the way. It would find themselves into the house, and you would find them lining the windows against that sun-baked wall of windows. And you try to wipe them away, and they'd leave a little red smear. And you just knew that you would have to go and vacuum it, and you'd have to wipe it. It's just part of being a homeowner. The outside will find its way inside. Just nature. Well, I hope that helps kind of put some perspective on insects, rodents, and mice droppings in your home inspection report. Just know it's normal. It's going to happen whether you have an existing home or new construction. It's gonna happen. So hopefully this helps you guys, and stay tuned for the next one.